Welcome one and all back to NEET Life, the series where me and the Bandana King try to just not fuck up and try to talk about anything. I would know, my last solo recording about a manga was heavily scuffed. But you know, we're back here again, not really scripted like the Denmachi video, but we're gonna make it work. Today's manga is called The Skull Dragon's Precious Daughter. And honestly, really great volume. And you know, we are here to just talk about it. Do you want to start up with yours? Like, anything you want to mention about it?
It kind of low-key, it gives me a little bit of Danmachi vibes just based off our main girl, the daughter, because of how Bell is kind of projected, how his power has no ends. Her power is being shown to be like without any limits.
So you're
and Bell is gonna basically break barriers.
So you're comparing Eve's affinity for magic, her immense potential for magic, as a comparison to Bell's skill of continued desire result in continuous growth.
Yes,
that's
his Realis phrase.
I actually never thought about that, so that was really cool. You know, I agree with what you said about the Danmachi vibes. This is like a adventuring anime outside of, like, if dungeons inside a dungeon, then this is on the outside of it. But they're both adventuring manga. And what's cool is that I made a connection to Frieren because this series this first volume feels so laid back. And again, it's an adventuring manga and they're traveling. So Frieren, which is an 11 out of 10 anime, is an adventuring manga going at the pace of Frieren and how she's adventuring with other humans in her life.
The only thing I just am bummed about is the majority how it has a lot of like time skips and jumps. It doesn't show us like how much of like exactly like Eve grows up with the dragon. It just straight up gets points where she fine or they run into each other. He decides to take care of her and just jumps to, well, now he's dying.
If I remember right, and I honestly don't know how well this is accurately portrayed, but I think the time going to when he's dead and starting for when Snoozy actually dies, I think it's more important to know how the character starts from that point. When Snoozy died, how does Eve react? I feel like the time in between, this time skip is okay because all that isn't important, because the only thing we know is that she's 5 years older, she's 10 now, and at Snoozy's time of death, she got so emotional and she learned magic at a super quick pace to try to bring back his soul in a new skeletal form that was conjured up by her amateurish magic at the time. And I do want to point out that there is a very emotional connection to what he says at the beginning and at the end, where he says that that this form that he has right now won't last for another few years. And while it does gives us a long time to, you know, make us want to see how many adventures they're gonna go on, at the end it's kind of like a foreshadow of like, I enjoy spending time with you as well. But he's also subtly hinting to Eve that he's not gonna stay with her always and forever, and it's super sad. It makes me really not want to see him go.
I agree with that, especially with like now, like he's made it to the point to the reader that he's very aware that he's not gonna be with her forever, and he's instilled it, and he's made it his mission that he needs to basically instill in her these rules and priorities, and so that she grows in the way she's able to, so that way when he's gone, she can handle herself.
Cash, connections, and constitution. Education. It's such a cute and innocent, there we go, it's an innocent way for her to teach her how to, you know, talk to people and get accustomed to the real world. And honestly, her jobs as a witch are very funny because Yule just likes to work her to death. Like, the art is super expressive, and the mangaka does a really great job at, you know, making Yule funny, changing Eve's face a lot, and just showing just the world, painting this picture of this world in a fantasy setting.
I love how just like how Yule is able to like extort any use of Eve and Snoozy.
And any
More
dragon.
particularly Eve. Yeah, any dragon for cash.
You know, we see that he's a very like smart person trying to make business out of everything, but when something doesn't go his way, it's just his face changes to like, it's funny to see his face change.
Right.
There are 6 chapters to this first volume, but I kind of want to dial back to actually the cover, because as you know, when we were browsing our local bookstore, it was actually the title that caught my interest of like the Skull Dragon and a Precious Daughter. How is this linked? The title caught my interest, and honestly, it was the like burgundy and gold spine, a really nice color combo that caught me to pull it out. And then the art, you know, we see Eve, we see Snoozy in his skeletal form, and probably his old dragon form. And it's a very vibrant and awesome cover to look at. And you know, it did its job.
Yeah, you mentioned the coloring, like especially like the metallic silver of his spine really helps it stand out. And I didn't even notice his previous dragon form in the back up until you just mentioned it right now. Like you said, really helps it like show off like that artique and that art for a first volume. Another thing I would like to also mention, since we're on the topic of Snoozy, one of the side plots to him was his offspring.
True. He has 8 kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, hello? Bro was busy.
He was busy, and none of them were like aware. And his first offspring, at least that we've seen, we don't know if the others were aware, but his first offspring seemed to have no idea that he was dying or even died.
That chapter was really, really emotional for all the right reasons, because it's his youngest offspring, and because that dragon got connected emotionally to another human, another witch, and then the witch died. Which kind of, again, makes a similarity to Frieren, where dragons live a long time, elves live a long time, and humans' lifespans are barely like a blink of an eye. It's super short, 100 years, probably not that long for an elf.
Yeah.
And what was her name again? Mirabelle, when she died, he didn't understand that she probably like bit the dust, and he was just waiting for her. And when he's found Eve, he got like super excited, and they interpreted it the wrong way, which is really funny. He charged at them menacingly, but seeing Eve and Snoozy and this like appreciation of life and how they are like now siblings, it really like spoke to me.
Yeah.
And this overall like theme of like of essentially the title, the Skull Dragon's Precious Daughter, where she brought Snoozy back in a corporeal skeletal form, but the magic is gonna run out, but they're still spending their time together. It's an important bond for them because he's helping her grow and she's spending time with him, and they're connecting their family, which is more just bonds and connections. This volume does a whole lot for the emotional and theme. Yeah, emotional and themes that it's presenting.
Yeah, and like how you mentioned, when you take all of that put all that together, it really brings the reader back and want to continue reading this series, which I think its 5th volume will be coming out in August, if I remember correctly, or its 6th.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah. So like I'm already looking into cutting into my budget to get at least the next volume at least.
Yeah, we got some catching up to do, but this is just a really, it feels really slow paced, but you know, I'm gonna do another Frieren connection, but Frieren by itself, 28 episode anime, and no episode feels boring because we're seeing Frieren and just how she's pacing around her own life at her own pace because she lives a long time. This feels the exact same way. We're seeing Eve at age 10 go about learning about life. Really cute manga and just amazing visually. I love the art. It feels old, but it's not old.
Yeah, and just like Frieren, there's those comedic bits, whether it's like, you know, it's Frieren getting herself stuck in a fake treasure chest, or it's anytime Snoozy gets upset with Yule for trying to escort Eve for money. It has its comedic bits to also like, I guess also bring in the laughters and the smiles for what is also the emotional bits in the anime, or excuse me, the manga.
Dude, if this ever gets a manga adaptation, or an anime adaptation, you got me.
only going 5 volumes in translated, and I think we're still gotta wait a long time for that.
Yeah, it's a 21 release, but the first printing was in 23.
Yeah,
So we got a while.
I'm really sold on this. It's like I really think you caught you when we were out there scolding our local bookstore. You caught a good one.
I really think so too. I can't wait to see other covers and just see how the story progresses. My most favorite thing are just Eve's. I love Eve's facial expressions so much. She usually has like a blank stare of a face, but like when she's really emotional or like bored or tired or excited, it really like livens her up.
And her first like initial moments were like with Snoozy, especially when it came to getting her to eat.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's very cute.
Yeah, I think those are very, very adorable moments that, you know, make as the story like progressed through the first chapter that Snoozy was dying, just made it all more sentimental.
I do want to make a nod to, like, I think it's the last page where Yule knows something that those two don't, or like he's watching them, or he's been like observing them for a while, and like something or other wants either information on them two or wants one of them, and it makes me worry. And I'm like,
I admit like you're concerned, especially when Yule revealed that he was able to see Snoozy. Like Snoozy made himself invisible to literally everybody else, but
he can see
still
it.
able to see him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when that's when I initially thought like that we've met our bad guy.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think it's just who he's like contracted to work for. But like, you know, he's kind of like the first thing that came to my head was a swindler. He's not really a swindler. I think he's just someone who's adaptable to both sides.
You can't fully trust any character.
True. Trust me, I would know. Chainsaw Man's going in that direction right now. Chainsaw Man's fucked up right now.
Yeah, right now I just found out that Shanks is a celestial dragon apparently.
What? Any final thoughts on this volume that you want to share?
Overall, very solid. The emotional attachment is there between Eve and Snoozy. Yule, I'm skeptical of him. The Offspring, I liked his story with the witch. I forgot her name, and I'm hoping we get to see like the others in future volumes.
I overall agree. Very cute. I'll follow this story forever, honestly. I can't wait to read volume 2. I'm very excited.
Ditto.
This is Bedhead, guys. Never stop being a weeb.
This is the Bandana King. Remember to touch grass and stay hydrated.
How do we end this? I don't know how to end this. I actually never thought this far ahead.
Neither have I. So, did we ever have a proper outro?
I don't remember. That was so long ago. For me, I kind of made like my own one-liner of this is Bedhead, guys. Never stop being a weeb. Something like that.